with the broken hearts, they have given their son Nithyananda Prabhu, and the sannyasi at the age of when Nithyananda was 12, he took Nithyananda Prabhu with him to different holy places. Sometime later, Nithyananda Prabhu, so he left him, and that was the plan, that he would be separated from his home, and he would visit all the different holy places, he would visit all the different holy places, and so he would visit the different holy places. And very interestingly, Nithyananda Prabhu did not start the preaching. Why? As Balramji, he was the brother, but as Nithyananda Prabhu is actually, elder brother of Krishna, and sometimes he would he would sometimes control Krishna in Vatsalya Ras. But Nithyananda Prabhu, though he was like 12 to 13 years older than Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a sold out servant to him. He was a sold out servant to Lord Chaitanya. So, different, Balramji during Kurukshetra war, he didn't take part, and he also traveled different holy places. Nithyananda also traveled different holy places. The forests of Vaidyanath, he visited Gaya, then visited the temple of Vakreshwar, then he went to Kasi. Then he went to Prayag, then he went to Vrindavan, in Mathura. They went to Mathura and bathed in the holy waters of Yamuna. Then they went to Dwarka, he bathed in the ocean. Then he went to, he went to Ayodhya, to the birthplace of Ramchandra, and he cried in ecstasy. So he went to Guha Kshetra, where Lord Ramchandra's servant Guha was there, and Nithyananda fell into deep trance, remembering the activities of his tribal king Guha, Guhaka. Then Nithyananda went to from that holy place. He traveled all the forests in the nearby place. He took bath in Sarayu river. Then Nithyananda took bath in Gomati river. Then he climbed the Mahendra mountain and he met Parshuram. Then he traveled Haridwar. Then he bathed in Pampa river, then Godavari and Veena river, Vyasa river. And he came to South India. He visited the temple of Kartikeya, and he climbed the mountain Srisaila, mountain, where he met his devotees Lord Shiva and Parvati. Lord Chaitanya also came to Srisaila actually, and Parvati and Lord Shiva recognized Nithyananda Prabhu and they worshipped him. He's the original. They understood he's the original Sankarshan. Now appeared before them as a wandering mendicant. And Lord Shiva and Parvati, they received this great guest and took care of him with great affection. Parvati cooked wonderful dishes to Nithya for the pleasure of Nithyananda Prabhu. And Nithyananda Prabhu offered Shiva and Parvati's obeisances. And the very confidential topics they discussed. Only Krishna knows. Then he went to Kanchi. Then he took bath in Kaveri. Then he went to Srirangam and he took darshan of Ranganath. Then they went to Madurai. Kritnamala, Tamraparni. He visited, river. He took bath in those rivers. He visited Shibha mountain. So, and then, as he was continuing his travels, he came across a group of Buddhists and he asked them questions. And not even one monk replied, gave answer to his questions. Chabro became angry. He chastised them and he kicked on everyone's head. Then Nithyananda went to Kanyakumari. Then he came to Anantapura Kshetra. Then he visited Kerala also. So likewise, he was traveling the different holy places. And when he was traveling, today's topic is that when he was traveling on the western provinces of India, Konkan, western provinces, he met the devotee Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri is an embodiment of a seed of love of Godhead in this world. Kalpavruksha. And Ishwarapuri, he was traveling with his disciples. Ishwarapuri, who is actually spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. So Madhavendra Puri was traveling. And Madhavendra Puri is a Paramahamsa devotee, Mahabhagavad devotee. Krishna personally stays in the heart of Madhavendra Puri. Usually, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart? 400 Vishnu form. But exalted pure devotees like Madhavendra Puri, Krishna is personally present in his heart to witness his activities. Advaitacharya is also a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. I recently went to, what is the place? Shantipur, where the Advaitacharya received initiation from Madhavendra Puri. So when Nithyananda met Madhavendra Puri, Nithyananda became stunned and he lost his consciousness. And he started rolling on the ground. And Madhavendra Puri also became ecstatic. He went to trance, seeing Nithyananda Prabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, who is the main trunk of devotion service of our movement? Madhavendra Puri. So Madhavendra Puri is a seed of the seed of love of God in this world. That love of God had Ishwar Puri made into a plant and Lord Chaitanya made into a huge tree. So when the disciples saw the loving exchange between Madhavendra Puri and Nithyananda Prabhu, they started crying actually. Association of Vaishnava is very, very important. Bhakti, as long as we harbor, I'm talking about myself, harbor impurities, we cannot experience this type of joy seeing devotees. So when two pure souls meet and then they talk about Krishna, then one is Nithyananda Prabhu, Balramji, the Arjuna of Guru Tattva, another is the Kalparuksha from the spiritual world, who knew the meaning of Aslishyava Padaratam verse. So, so they rolled on the ground and they rolled on the ground and they roared loudly, totally absorbed in Krishna Prema. Totally absorbed in Krishna Prema. Earth was so happy. receiving their tears. So they were experiencing, this Ashtasatika Vikara, they were experiencing the symptoms of shivering, weeping, horripilation, like unlimited waves. It means Lord Chaitanya, who is the origin of Prem Bhakti, is present in their hearts. Nithyananda Prabhu said, today I have received the ultimate benefit of my travel to other places. My eyes tasted the lotus, I could see the lotus feet of Madhavendra Puri. I could see the ecstatic love of the transcendental love for Krishna. My life has become blessed and meaningful. Madhavendra Puri was speechless. His voice choked. Seeing the Nithyananda Prabhu's love for Krishna. So, Ishvara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, they could understand what was happening, the exchange of love between two great devotees of the Lord. They have seen so many pilgrims, but they have not seen anybody who has that demeanor of love, who has that the highest form of ecstasy, exhibited by Nithyananda Prabhu actually. So Nithyananda Prabhu and Madhavendra Prabhu spend time talking Krishna Katha, discussing Krishna Katha. Actually in Srimad Bhagavatam also you can see, what is that? In Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava and Vidura. Vidura is a pure devotee, Uddhava is a pure devotee. So when devotees come together, they should talk about Krishna. Satarati lokam starayati. When they talk about Krishna, they experience that when two pure devotees come, when they talk about Krishna, they experience unlimited joy actually. In that unlimited joy, they purify all the worlds, So, what is that? Nithyananda Prabhu is the abode of Lord Chaitanya's love. Nithyananda Prabhu always speaks about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we can worship Lord Nithyananda Prabhu, we'll obtain the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. We'll get the devotion to the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So he is the first manifestation of Lord Chaitanya, and it is his causeless mercy that all the Chaitanya Mahaprabhus, that the pastimes, they will manifest. If we have the grace of Nithyananda Prabhu, we'll have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So, what is that? This is very important. Srila Prabhupada, one time, His Holiness Radhana Swami, Prabhupada came to India. So Prabhupada was a very, very charismatic, surrounded by the Western, these American disciples. Prabhupada came to Vrindavan. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, sorry, no, not Akinchan Krishnadas. Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, not Krishnadas Kaviraj. So wanted to see Prabhupada. So Maharaj was with Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. So Maharaj took Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj to the place where Prabhupada was staying. So there was actually a gatekeeper, one guard, and this guard, Maharaj told him, so this is Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, God brother of Srila Prabhupada. Please tell Prabhupada that we want to meet Prabhupada. So please go and tell Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada is busy. You will not see anybody. He said, no, don't like that. Please don't reject. Just tell Srila Prabhupada and that Akinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj came. At least say that. that guy, the Srila Prabhupada disciple, he went inside. And as soon as Prabhupada heard Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj name, Prabhupada said, tell him to come in. Prabhupada was actually giving lecture. So Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj came. Immediately Prabhupada, whatever he was speaking, he stopped and he ran to Akinchana Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj. They embraced each other, crying. And Prabhupada, crying and Prabhupada took him, put him on the same seat, and put him on the same seat, and they started talking in Bengali. His Holiness Radhanath Swami says, we didn't understand anything, but we could see spiritual world. We could see spiritual world. Wow, amazing. So when we see the loving dealings of Mahabharata devotees, pure devotees, we can see spiritual world. That is very, very satisfying. That is the nature of the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. Sometimes they call it Annamaya, Pranamaya. Manomaya is also called Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. That's okay, same. So Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, these are the when these three stages we are in the, it means the living entity is in the conditioned state of mental existence. He's still conditioned. But when he or she, whatever, when the jiva is in the Vijnanamaya state, then yes, they're free from, they are no longer Baddha Jiva. They're no, So why I'm telling this is, Annamaya, Pranamaya, their happiness is on just sensual level, gross sensual level. Monomaya on mental level, name and fame, all these things. Name and fame and fortune, adoration, profit, distinction, puja, pratishta, kanaka, kamani. So the jiva is attracted to all these things. You're all listening?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
But,
Yes, Prabhuji.
When we transcend by the sadhana, when we go to the next level, what is that? Vijnanamaya platform, then, so, the same thing can be, same thing can be said in terms of Nishta, Anartha Nivritti Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava. Ayendra Prabhu, I was listening to one of the lectures of Ayendra Prabhu. Ayendra Prabhu says, there are three types of pure devotees, Mahabharata devotees. One pure devotee is, he is in the spiritual world. His two legs are in the spiritual world, but he is here. He's a Nitya Siddha devotee, associate of the Lord. He doesn't want anything from this world. He came to assist the pastimes of the Lord. Another devotee is, one leg is here, one leg is there. He has attained perfection, sadhana siddha. He is present here, he is present there also. He is also pure devotee. The third one, Mahabhagavad devotee, is a person who has attained the taste for the holy name, Ruchi. A person who has attained the taste for the bhakti process. He crossed another stage, he crossed the Nishta stage, and he has come to the state of Ruchi. And the Ruchi state, though he may have some, certain things lingering in his mind, still he should be considered Mahabhagavad devotee, and the Prabhu says that. So then, because a tiny spiritual experience, even if we have unlimited sensual and mental experiences, they are not on par They are not equal to a tiny spiritual experience. You're listening, right? So, because that's where we are spirit soul. Theory doesn't work for a long time. So, we should keep on enduring actually. So, complain, that's why we should be careful with these three things. I'm talking to myself. Compare, complain, and criticize. Can everyone repeat these three words? Compare,
complain, and criticize.
Compare, criticize.
Our nature is any conditioned soul, but the jiva, jivi. We complain, we compare. Even devotees, he is better devotee than me, I am better devotee than him or her. So we compare. That is not good. I took long time for me to realize, but it's not easy though, because the mind is there, active mind is there, it will do these three things. How many of you agree? Let us be honest.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So
Yes, Prabhuji.
constantly we do that, whether materially or spiritually we compare, and which is not good. But still, that is the nature of the mind. That's why Manomaya, no doubt better than Annamaya and Pranamaya, but Manomaya stage, one lecture I heard, there is no substitute for maturity. You cannot lift our consciousness. So sadhana. So what is the problem with today's technologically developed world, material world? People have very little patience. So they cannot do sadhana for 20, 25 years, 30 years. Because of Krishna consciousness, so much of lifetimes of dirt, and there is so much distraction even in the present world, even if we want to do good sadhana. But we should know we are making. I know day after day we are inching towards the ultimate goal. So we compare and we complain. He is the reason for my life like this. She is the reason for my life like this. You've seen that, right? And in one lecture, Peter Burwa said that a person who complains has not started his spiritual life. Because Krishna, I can give an example actually. I don't know how many of you have seen. I've seen this. Take a big broom, very long broom, and end of the broom hit the cat. So if you hit the cat will start fighting with the broom, not seeing the hand of the person who is using the broom to push the cat. Anyone has seen this? I've seen it actually.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So likewise, Krishna is using that person to give us some little inconvenience or trouble, whatever, only to make us go forward. But we are so caught up in the trivialities of this material world. We consider that person as an enemy. I have to remember myself. I have to remind myself more and more and more. It's very important actually. So Krishna orchestrated the whole thing so that you'll be able to get rid of certain impurities. You'll be able to get rid of certain attachments and go forward. Hare Krishna. Then only we'll be able to experience. Otherwise, what happens? Okay, Nithyananda Prabhu and Madhavendra Prabhu experienced unlimited. Yeah, very, very sorry. Because we don't know what it is. Right? But when we do sadhana, actually, what is it? What is his name? Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj and Bhagavad Das Babaji Maharaj. He came, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj came to from Vrindavan to Navadvip. When they met each other, wow, same thing. They locked up in the embrace. It's from morning, it was night, 11 o'clock for hours. We don't see that happening in the material world. We don't see anybody embracing for 10 hours, 12 hours. Did anyone see that? No. Sensual pleasures are very flickering, but spiritual pleasures, wow, that soul is experiencing unlimited joy. Right? So, and devotees were telling, then in the Bhagavad Gita, disciples were telling, and Bihari Das is is the one who was carrying, they didn't eat anything, please, but they were in deep samadhi. They were in deeper samadhi. So the point is, the more we need to have a strong drive to do sincere sadhana. But the nature of this world is, over a period of time, if we do sadhana, if you're not careful, we become a little relaxed. Chanting same rounds. That should never happen. We should have, if Krishna is giving you enthusiasm, that is mercy actually. You're holding feedback and continuing your sadhana day after day, month after month, year after year. That is grace. That is the real grace actually. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, there is nothing, there's nobody more merciful than the holy name. Krishna's holy name is the most merciful. Even if you're sinful, you're an offender, still you can chant Krishna's name. But we should be careful, Otherwise, we'll get negative results. Excuse me, Hare Krishna. So what is that? So they become expert, and we criticize. Anybody we criticize is, anybody we criticize, anybody we criticize, we lose even in their, I think that's actually this was told by Kalakanta Prabhu. He said, anybody, just give me 1 minute. Anybody who if you criticize somebody, knowing very well they will never know this. They may not know, but the nature, Kalkanda Prabhu says, eventually we'll develop problems with them. And our relationship with them will be strained. Be very careful. When I heard this first time, I said, wow, amazing. How many of you are hearing this first time?
Yes.
I'm writing
Yes,
a book.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I mentioned this actually. You all should know, I'm coming with the book. Past 2 years, it's, working on that, and it's going to come very soon. Actually.
Hari bol.
Yeah, I need your blessings, everyone's blessings for that. So what is that? No, we should not criticize. If you criticize immediately, we should seek forgiveness. Actually. If you don't have guts, at least pray to my Lord, I'm so I'm fallen. Please forgive me. I'll not do this again. But we need to have as much. We need to have loving relationships. Actually, Nithyananda, what is that? Chaitanya Bhagavat. This Lord Nithyananda Prabhu meeting. Nithyananda Prabhu meeting Madhavendra Puri is one of the highlights of his travels. Wow. Why? When we meet devotees, genuine devotees. If our goal is, even at least we are on the Madhyamadhikari platform. What is the Madhyamadhikari platform? Prema Maitri Kripopaksha. Goal is Krishna. We need to understand this life is very short. So our goal is Krishna. Then make friendship with those devotees whose goal is also Krishna. Whose goal is also Krishna. So actually now what is that? In my last trip I went to Hyderabad. And his mother chants 160 rounds. Hare Krishna on Ekadasi. 160 rounds. Not even initiated. You know. So there's all these devotees chant 64 rounds in Ekadasi. They're all grostas. Not even on full time. Very well, amazing. You know. So so these three things we should try to avoid: complain, criticize, and compare. Like be like this. So somebody is doing better, said sadhana, great, amazing, Haribol, bro, congratulations, Haribol Mataji, congratulations. They are continuing from their past life. Spiritual world is unlimited number of Vaikuntha planets. Not that these are only 2 jobs and you lose the job. No. Unlimited. And Krishna wants not you were like few bunch of Hare Krishna devotees. Krishna wants the whole world to come back. There's so much space. But if you have envy, then it is difficult for me. then it is difficult for me. Hare Krishna. So, it's important. So when I heard first time the Prabhupada dealings with the Kinchan Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, I felt like, how is that, the lecture I heard, the devotees sitting there saw spiritual world. I said, wow, amazing. But I really wanted to know that type of feel. I want to see, get a feeling like that. One time Jayapataka Maharaj came to Michigan, Detroit. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I don't remember now. So one devotee took me, and he came from Philadelphia, and he took me to introduce to Maharaj actually. And he introduced me, and Maharaj spoke. But he said, wait. It happens only 2-3 minutes, right? Then I waited and I stayed back. He said, wait and see. Actually, I think nature is fulfilling my desire, I thought. And the way Maharaj dealt with one Mataji, she's very senior. And wow, amazing. Such a nectar of love, the interaction. Really I felt that a glimpse of literal spiritual world actually. Wow, so sweet. So if we try to, at least for a few moments, I thanked him, the devotee profusely. Prabhuji, amazing, and I'm very grateful that you have taken me inside and be part of this whole thing. Excuse me. Give 1 minute. So, what is that? Then Madhavendra Puri, they could not separate themselves. Then Nithyananda Prabhu eventually he left, and Madhavendra Puri also left. But his disciples, Ishwara Puri, Brahmananda Puri, Brahmananda Bharati, they all treasured that wonderful, what is that? loving exchange between Nithyananda Prabhu and Madhavendra Puri. Actually, Bhakti Ratnakar is filled with Narottam Das Thakur meeting all the associates of Lord Chaitanya and profusely crying because they were all senior to him. they were all senior to him, and they were longing to see him because Lord Chaitanya announced his personality will come and he'll introduce Kirtan, a variety of Kirtan style, Manohar Shaili. So, Lord Chaitanya, what is his name? Narottam Das Thakur meeting with Srinivas Acharya, Narottam Das Thakur meeting with Ramchandra Kaviraj, Narottam Das Thakur meeting with Gopinath Acharya, different devotees. And Jahanama Mata goes to see Nitya, what is that? Raghunath Das Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami is a fag end of his life. So it's called Vaishnava Samagam. Yes, meeting devotees. When we meet devotees, wow, this is what is a devotee, Vaishnava. We should be very grateful. We are able to meet, but our heart is filled with impurities. We cannot. This ego is such a demon, actually. Ego creates a picture of yourself. You own this, you own this, you own this. This is what you are. The moment somebody starts claiming a little bit of what you think you own, immediately ego becomes defensive and you see other person as an enemy. You see other person as an enemy. Immediately we become defensive. You become defensive. Anyone has any experience? And even if they don't speak, if they speak a little bit that you don't like, wow. Then since then, there is 3 modes will act. They will, you will express your opinions and these opinions internally, these opinions and your opinions about them negatively, it will touch them. They will also respond negatively, and that opinions will come and touch you, and there is a iron curtain of negativity between both the parties. Anyone has experience like this? Yeah. Very interesting, especially Kali Yuga, right? Quarrel and hypocrisy. It's actually the ego. What is the name? Gurian Prabhu says, chanting, we say it's mind, right? It is ego. Ego reflects its opinion on mind. I actually have a little discomfort in my throat. I don't have any fever, nothing, perfectly all right, not even. I don't know why it started now. A little bit there last night, but
Prabhuji, little warm water will help, Prabhuji, hot water.
That's what I did, and it aggravated,
Oh.
So anyway, so the point is, what is it? It's the ego. What is the medicine for ego? Medicine for ego is third verse, which for me it's difficult to apply, but you should try. When you see somebody, Prabhu, I am your servant. Wow. And give what you have. It starts with Guru, actually. At least Krishna says, you want to address this element of envy? Don't be envious of Guru. Sometimes people become envious of Guru also. Actually, no, Jiva is a conditioned soul, right? With all the impurities, anger, envy, pride, greed. So then accept Guru. Guru has taken your karma. Be grateful to him. Yes, it's definitely. Amazing. And how do you overcome that? At least one person we are not envious. And we are grateful. And then what happens? That one person we are not envious and we surrender. Then what happens? At least that person we are not envious. Then Guru says, you don't be envious of others. Then what happens? So, and he tells all, Siksha, Ashtakam, chanting, the bhakti process, everything. And we start applying it. First we think, I don't know how many of you know, what is the first step in problem solving? Anyone knows what is the first step in problem solving?
Understanding the problem.
Recognize the problem. Yes, Samma, thank you. First, recognize the problem. Diagnose the problem. That is actually, trust me, if anybody diagnoses the problem, that's the biggest step. Because even in the medical thing, we have devotees. If you can diagnose the problem very well, giving medicine is very easy. But if the diagnosis is not there, wow, you try that medicine, this medicine, then it has a negative effect. Wow, it's a problem. That's why, the moment we perceive we have this problem, you are 50% successful. Then we need to have strength to, that's where the chanting helps. We need to have strength to apply medicine. Mind says, don't talk to them. Don't look at them. They are like this. So you need to have a lot of internal strength to say no to your mind and go and talk to them. But that's where chanting helps. Because a Baddha Jivi, I'm talking to myself. We need to train ourselves. Krishna comes externally as Guru and internally as Paramatma to train us. This, to take us out of this, this prison house of the material existence. All of you have been sincerely trying, amazingly wonderful, great. But how many people knew this? Technology, parents, media, universities are telling increase your entry. Then we can never have loving dealings with others. So what is that? Even on the Valentine's Day, which was over, 80% of people in this world are lonely. Why? Even if you have somebody, a close family member, you cannot open your heart and share. Sharing of the heart happens between two exalted souls only, with Krishna in the center. Otherwise, what will the thing? How easy it is to break the, these days, the relationship breaks just like that. Hare Krishna. If you say one word after 10 years of relationship, whether it's marriage or parents or children or friendship, whatever, even if you do a lot of service for 10 years, suddenly you say something that other party doesn't like, then the Kali comes and he increases the negativity and you agree? How many of you have seen this? After 10, 15, 20 years.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
It's because of the Kali. So we should have so much of positivity. That's why enthusiasm, patience. And of course, determination to make progress. Saha Nischayadhyaya. If you really want to get along in this world, patience. Okay, chodana, it's okay. But unless we have that much spiritual strength, we cannot say that also. Our sadhana should be very impeccable to say that. Because how long can you face negativity can you face negativity? You need to have so much of positivity to face the negativity. Otherwise, in a weak moment, you'll also become part of that negativity, and you'll respond. You'll respond. All right. So the biggest thing in spirituality is mind. Frontline's mind, in the background is actually ego. So rest are all details only. Rest are all only details. So good sadhana. Then when we actually know, at least we should have good friends. 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't need to have hundreds of friends. It's not possible also. Few devotees, where on regular basis we discuss Krishna Katha. And we accept them as they are. We should not try to change them. Some people may like hearing, some people may like chanting, some people may like doing service. So they're coming and sharing, they're giving opportunity to share Krishna with, they're giving opportunity to you to share Krishna with them. You should be grateful. Familiarity definitely breeds contempt. They cannot avoid. I told somebody recently, you can never avoid familiarity. आ ही जाता है. That familiarity will come. What is the medicine? Respect. Gratitude. If you develop strong respect and gratitude, you will not develop familiarity. Familiarity in the negative sense means what? You will not find fault with them. If you develop familiarity, you will find fault with them. Then what is the medicine for that? Develop a respect for them, and develop that respect should lead to gratitude. Means you are going away from familiarity and finding fault. Hare Krishna. So anyway, then we can also have wonderful loving exchanges. Become grateful, so happy. What is Chaitanya Charitamrita? Chaitanya Charitamrita is nothing but prasadam. Devotees come together, eat prasad, then then kirtan, jumping, dancing. That's it. Of course, sometimes like Nithyananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya, Nithyananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, but their platform is different. Lord Chaitanya saw so much rice, so many vegetables, so many items. I'm a sannyasi, please don't give this money, just give me a little, what is the fruits and roots. Advaita Acharya said, my Lord, we know, I know you. You are actually, just give me 1 minute. So, what is that? Lord, and I know you. In Jagannath Puri, you eat 56 items 56 times. My Lord, there's nothing for it. Please eat. But Nithyananda Prabhu, past 3 days I'm fasting only. Today I thought I'll get some wonderful meal. But after saying, itna hi hai kya? There's not much here to eat. Nithyananda Prabhu said that. Then Advaita Acharya said, we don't know, what type of caste you have, you're avadhut, if we associate with you, what will happen to us? Then Nithyananda Prabhu, the feigning anger, he took little rice and hit on the ground. He threw, hey, I got only very little. And one grain went and touched the body of Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya became ecstatic, started dancing and chanting. Haribo, like Lord Chaitanya is laughing. How many problems, how many arguments between devotees end up with one person jumping up and down dancing? Huh? The simple thing is, Simplicity means no duplicity. Actually, I'm talking to myself, I'm honest. Saying is very easy when somebody is listening. So we should try sincerely. Expectation leads to misery. We expect. What leads to misery? Expectation. Don't expect. Do what you can do, and no expectation. But the nature of this world is you're exposed to that type of situations. It'll try to bring up the negative qualities in you. Wow. It'll try to bring up the negative qualities in you. You cannot avoid that. In other words, if we utilize every situation to improve ourselves, every situation will be, actually every trouble, every problem will make us strong and stronger. We see that problem as Krishna's grace to make us better, to cleanse our heart. But if we do not know that, then we will also become part of the whole, part of the quarrel, part of Maya's plan. Hare Krishna. So then, of course, Madhendra Puri parted with his disciples, treasuring this wonderful loving exchange he had with Nithyananda Prabhu. And all the devotees went with him. Nithyananda Prabhu also went with him. He finally reached. Nithyananda Prabhu went to Vrindavan. He was, started roaming far in the forests, started taking, bath in Yamuna regularly. He lived in a place called Sringaravati. We visited that place. He would play with the cowherd boys there. And one day he heard a celestial voice, Akashvani. Nimai Pandit started this Sankirtan movement and inundating the world with Sankirtan movement. Now you can return to Navadvip. I have added this. This is not there in this chapter. But then Nithyananda Prabhu returned that when that chapter comes, we'll see. But here, Lord Chaitanya has not started, So because the 10th chapter is the marriage of Nimai and Lakshmi Priya. How Lord Chaitanya was married to Lakshmi Priya. That is the 10th chapter, which we will see next week. Next Wednesday, I don't think I'll do it. I don't think there's a class. But, so, but the week later, definitely I'll be there. Krishna's grace is there, and we will have, what is it? I'll be back and then we'll continue this. Any question or comment?
Prabhuji, thank you. Sorry, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Very wonderful class. Is Nithyananda Prabhu initiated at this point of time, Prabhuji, when he's about to meet Mahaprabhu?
You said Nithyananda Prabhu when he was initiated?
Yes, Prabhuji. Was he initiated when he's about to meet, like at this point of time when he meets Madhendra Puri, and now when he's going to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is he already initiated?
Actually, in the book, this version, in his travels, he comes to the western province. I don't know why in this book it is not mentioned. He was actually initiated, yes, by Lakshmipati Tirtha, because they were god brothers. Madhendra Puri was also initiated by Lakshmipati Tirtha, and Nithyananda was also initiated by Lakshmipati Tirtha. That Lord Chaitanya was actually, Advaitacharya is Lord Chaitanya's Guru's god brother, but Nithyananda Prabhu is, and Lord Chaitanya's
Guru's god brother.
Param Guru's god brother, see, god brother, like that, like, so you and you meeting Prabhupada's, what is that? Some Vaibhav Puri Maharaj or Bhakti Vilas Tirth Maharaj, somebody like that,
Okay.
Because for us, Prabhupada is Grand Guru and his god brother. But of course, Nithyananda Prabhu was very young, and he was only 12 to 13 years older than Lord Chaitanya, So, but I don't know where. Actually, honestly speaking, Chaitanya Bhagavat, I read one more verse. This, what is that? This sannyasi coming and taking him was not given in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Very interesting. I think it is there in Nithyananda Charitamrita. So I think Nithyananda Prabhu's initiation is also mentioned in Nithyananda Charitamrita. But by the time he met Madhavendra Puri, he was already initiated, because he meets the when he went to the Western province only, he stayed in one home. That's where Lakshmipati Tirtha was there, and Nithyananda Prabhu received initiation. And after that only, I think a few days later only, sometime that time only they met.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Right. Anyone wants to add anything or any question? Otherwise, we'll end it. So we'll end it, and thank you very much. And then let's spoken anything wrong. I'm good for nothing, but very grateful that all came. Please excuse me for my insufficiencies and shortcomings. But please continue performing good sadhana. Hare Krishna. Dandavad Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.